Are you looking for a very powerful method for your online brainstorming session so the ideas you create don't get lost and you can turn them into action? In this video, I will show you how to use Whiteboard for online brainstorming. And when you prepare an online brainstorming session, one of the most important part is preparation. This is why I usually add in advanced the question to the whiteboard. So, for example, how can we improve our customer onboarding? Then, to structure each part of the brainstorming activities, I'm adding frames to the board. Here you see I already added a frame for idea generation. I also added some instruction using text, for example, one idea per sticky note, no discussion during this phase. And this method I'm showing you today consists of 4 steps. So the first step is idea generation, then is idea clustering, then we have voting and prioritization, and the last step is turning ideas into action. You see that I used for each part, I used here one of these visualizations. And visualizations are great to make the online experience for your attendees more appealing. And just on a side note, all these are part from the template library, from the facilitate templates here on Whiteboard. So when you prepare your online brainstorming session with Whiteboard, you will find all of these lovely illustrations here directly on the board. What else is important when preparing an online brainstorming session? So the more you prepare, the better, right? And what I'm doing here, for example, the title or the instructions, these are things I usually lock because my participants, they should not interact with that content. What I also do very often is I'm adding the sticky notes in advance. This is quite cool because unexperienced users who are new to online whiteboards, they don't need to go to the toolbar and add the sticky notes. They can just click on the sticky note and write down their idea. But I'm doing one thing more with these sticky notes. I'm pinning them. And what does this mean? If a sticky note is pinned, it can't be moved and it can't be resized. So this overcomes the problem that many other tools have, that for example, someone makes a sticky note bigger or moves it around. Yeah, and this is why I'm pinning the sticky notes so nobody is messing up with my structure I prepared. So now let's think about running this session. So I invite all the people to the whiteboard and then we start adding ideas here to the sticky notes. And one important thing when you brainstorm, always focus on quantity, not on quality. And motivate people to think outside of the box. Now, if you're doing a 3-minute brainstorming session, then I usually start the timer, let's say for 3 minutes, so everybody sees how long our online brainstorming session is running. For the example here, I already added 15 ideas in sticky notes. And after the initial idea generation phase, we come to the next steps where we cluster the ideas. So in this case, I would just select all of them, copy them, go here to the next session, to the idea clustering, and paste them directly here on the next session. A very nice method to cluster ideas is using tags. So for example, we use here the question how to improve our customer onboarding. And then one thing could be pre-built templates for common use cases. So what I can do now here, I can tag the sticky notes. And this one could be, for example, this is product related, right? But maybe we also need another tag, and one more tag could be to improve customer onboarding is to add automation. So we create a new tag. Maybe yellow on the yellow sticky note doesn't work that well, so we can also change the color of this tag. And then we can go through every sticky note and add tags based on the criteria they belong. And if we do that, and I already have done that in advance, so you can show how this looks like, we have here a lot of sticky notes to be tagged by product, support, UX, and so on. So one thing is missing is that we haven't added the automation tag. So I'm just doing this here now for the last 3 sticky notes. And as a next step, we would like to order and cluster them by tag. So we see, okay, which ideas belong to which category. In this case, I just select all of them. Now I go here to arrange. Let's say we would like to have 5 per rows because it's 15 sticky notes, and they should be arranged by tag. I click here save, and now you see all our sticky notes are perfectly organized by tag. And they're ready for our next step, which is basically the prioritization. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting all of the notes again, copy them, Control C, going to the next frame, and then I press Control V. Okay, I need to move them a little bit. And now I have here all the sticky notes. So the idea is now to figure out which ideas are the best and which ideas do we want to take into action. So we have a few options to do this. And let's say one of the most simplest option is to use a dot voting system. So in this case, a user can just drag a dot directly to the sticky notes on the board. And then we can say, oh, okay, this idea got, for example, 2 dots, 3 dots. It's an important one, so we need to continue working on that. What I usually recommend is also having here a clear instruction. So add a dot to your 2 favorite ideas. So I don't want that everybody is adding to every idea a dot, so just focus on the most important one. This makes it easier and faster. In case this doesn't lead to a clear result, then you can also use a more sophisticated option. And here in Whiteboard, we have different ways to create a voting session. For example, here by providing a number of votes to people. In this case, it's a little bit similar to the dot voting. And my favorite one here is the star rating. So if I'm starting this, everyone can basically, let's say here, best idea. Everyone can add stars to ideas. And then Whiteboard is doing the math and saying, oh, okay, this idea got 3.5 stars, the other 4.9. And then in the end, we can just continue working with all the ideas above 4 stars or something like this. In case this was a little bit quick, we have other YouTube videos and also an online help that describes in detail how this works. In our case, let's say now we take a few ideas which we want to take into action. So I'm selecting this idea, now this one, and to select here multiple ideas, I just hit Control, select here these 4 ideas, then do a copy paste again. And after our voting session to prioritize the ideas, we move them here to the action section. I'm pasting them again. Okay, let's order them shortly. So it's 4 ideas. So let's say here we would like to have 4 of them per row. And you see, we easily have here the ideas. Now, how do we turn them into action? The first step is here to convert these ideas into a task. And we can do this here with this switch type feature in Whiteboard. So we are just transforming these ideas into tasks. And now we have 4 tasks. The beautiful thing is the tags which we created before, they stay on the task as well. So I already know to which category these tasks belong. And now the cool thing is here when we talk about these tasks. So we have here the title, which was basically the text from the sticky note. And now we have here option to add a more detailed description. Maybe we take a few minutes with the team to write down what's really the content of that task. Then we could say, okay, it's something to do, we can change the color, and most importantly, we can assign it to someone. So if a task is assigned, then we know, okay, this person needs to take care about. And I really like to work with deadlines, for example, start or end date. And these are all things you can directly apply to the tasks here in Collabor. Yeah, and this is a simple but powerful approach how you go from generating ideas with your team to clustering them using tags to a simple or a more sophisticated voting to prioritize them, and then in the end turn these ideas into tasks and into actions. On a side note, when you create ideas, work on strategies, maybe you discuss internal things, the tool you use might matter, and this is where Collabor comes in. Collabor is a Swiss product focusing on highest security standards. We have sovereign hosting in Europe, and we're one of the European alternatives to the US whiteboard providers. And last but not least, if you want to try Collabor, go to our website. You can start a free account or a free trial, and yeah, have fun with your next brainstorming session using an online whiteboard. Thanks for watching.